Hi, if you're watching this video, you have probably heard of the Conrad Challenge and are wondering about the details and the processes of the challenge. That is why I'm here to explain to you the stories, details, and tips about the challenge as a former Conrad finalist. My name is Justin O, and I was the Conrad finalist in the year 2021 as the leader of Team Lumino.net. To give a brief summary, our project was based on an innovative AI technology that would directly influence traffic lights to improve the state of traffic in the region. This technology was also paired with our navigation software that permitted our users to get to their destination in the fastest route possible by analyzing traffic data that were collected. Our ideas eventually led us to become the Conrad finalists and to attend the virtual summit. But before I was able to achieve this feat, I also had no idea where to start, had little motivation, and had major hurdles that I needed to overcome. I first discovered this challenge online when I was discussing with my parents about competitions that I could compete in. The Conrad Challenge seemed to match my fundamental interest in STEM and also proposed a new and interesting domain: entrepreneurship. The mention of entrepreneurship was daunting at first, but I eventually came through and decided to participate in the challenge. To participate in the challenge, you first need to assemble a group of 2 to 5 people and a coach. This turned out to be quite a difficult task for several reasons. First, due to the pandemic, I did not go to school since the beginning of my freshman year. So I knew nearly no one, had no real close friends, and I did not know the general interest of my peers. But thankfully, due to the school band in the previous year, I had some friends that I could approach to be a part of my team. This is where I found the marketing executive of my team, Aiden Sway. Second, because I discovered the challenge relatively late, there was a time crunch for me to assemble a team, come up with an idea, and write the first report. This really forced me to reach out to many different people in my classes to quickly assemble a team. After some struggles, I managed to assemble a quite well-rounded team with 2 people competent in business and an animator. All that was left for us to do was to find a supervisor and come up with an idea. Because I could not establish meaningful relationships with my teachers in grade 9, my only option was my science teacher. However, due to conflicts in our schedule, our science teacher was unable to be our coach. So I resorted to putting one of my parents down as our supervisors, as there were really no other options left. This brings me to one of my most important points. In challenges such as these, it is important for you to be satisfied with your current condition, as your optimal circumstance is highly unlikely to occur. Although I did have relatively little time for stage 1, I still put in meaningful reflections to see what kind of members would be the best fit for our team. Although I really would have liked my teacher to coach us and evaluate our ideas with us, since that was not possible, we had to settle with evaluating the ideas and managing the team ourselves more efficiently. You really should never plan for the best circumstances possible, but the worst circumstances, as this will really get you to be more prepared of unexpected hurdles and will give you more wiggle room in your actual circumstance. After assembling my team, we quickly went on to plan our ideas. Since no one had real exposure to business and entrepreneurship, it was fairly difficult for us to come up with an idea that would have had a large impact on a large group of the population. One of our first ideas was to create innovative technology concerning quantum computers, but we quickly abandoned that idea as it would be way too complex for a bunch of high schoolers. After much thought and discussion with my parents and team, we were able to narrow our idea down and settled on a basic model of our current project. We were still quite unsure what kind of services we were going to add to our program, so consequently, the report was not easy to write. It also didn't help much that by the time we started writing our report, there were 2 days left to submit. Although our reports were of mediocre quality, we had to settle with what we had due to time constraints. We eventually submitted our first report and impatiently awaited the results, which we were almost certain that it wouldn't turn out well due to the quality of our first report. There are some things to take away from this part of the story. Your idea is most likely not going to be perfect or even refined in stage 1. but this does not mean that you should stick with any ideas that you have. From my experience, your ideas must influence a meaningful demographic and they must be open so that you can further innovate your initial idea into more complex branches. Also, don't expect your first draft to be perfect. Since your model isn't fully planned yet, writing the first report will be a little difficult and will lack coherence. Do not go over the board on the first report as you really do not want to be burned out before stage 2, which we will discuss next time. In part 2, I will discuss my hurdles and experiences in stage 2 and 3. Thank you so much for watching.